My phone buzzed during my break at the hospital. Clara's name lit up the screen with 3 words, "Emergency brunch, now." I'd just finished a 12-hour shift in the ER, still wearing my scrubs under my jacket, but when Clara said emergency, you dropped everything. That's what little sisters did right. The restaurant she'd chosen was one of those places with tiny portions and big prices. Clara was already there, perfectly styled in designer clothes, her phone propped up recording herself. She waved me over with the kind of smile that made other diners look. "Grace, finally," she hugged me quickly, careful not to wrinkle her outfit. "Sit, sit, I have the most incredible news." I slid into the booth, exhaustion pulling at my bones. "What's going on? Are you okay?" "More than okay." She thrust her left hand across the table. A diamond ring caught the sunlight, practically blinding me. "Nathan proposed, we're getting married." My exhaustion vanished instantly. "Clara, oh my God, congratulations." I grabbed her hand, examining the ring. It was massive, probably cost more than my yearly salary. "When did this happen?" "Last night, helicopter ride over the city, photographer hidden in the bushes. It was perfect. I already posted it. 15,000 likes in 2 hours." Of course she'd counted. Clara spent the next 20 minutes detailing every second of the proposal, while I sipped coffee that cost $12. Nathan had apparently planned everything perfectly, her favorite restaurant beforehand, the exact spot where they'd first met, even her mother's vintage handkerchief hidden in the ring box. "It was like a movie," she gushed. "Nathan's so thoughtful, he just gets me, you know." I smiled, genuinely happy for her. Clara had dated a string of terrible guys, cheaters, users, one who'd stolen her credit card. Nathan seemed different. Successful tech entrepreneur, charming, always treated her well from what I'd seen. "So when the wedding?" I asked. 6 months. I know it's fast, but Nathan wants to get married before his company goes public. Says he wants me officially by his side when that happens." She pulled out her phone, scrolling through what looked like a Pinterest board on steroids. "I'm thinking spring garden theme, maybe 300 guests, definitely a destination bachelorette party." 300 people. "It'll be intimate," she said seriously. "Now about the bridal party, I need to talk to you about something." Something in her tone made my stomach tighten. "Okay. You know I love you, Grace. You're my sister and you've always been there for me." She paused, looking uncomfortable. "But I'm giving the Maid of Honor position to Mia." Mia, Clara's influencer best friend with 500,000 followers and a lifestyle brand. Mia, who'd known Clara for maybe 3 years versus my 28. I forced my expression to stay neutral. "Oh, okay. You're amazing, Grace, but my wedding, going to be featured in magazines. There'll be photographers everywhere, brand partnerships, PR opportunities. Mia understands that world. She can help me navigate it." Clara reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "You understand, right? It's not personal, it's business." "Your wedding is business." "Everything's business now. That's how you build a brand." She pulled her hand back, already moving on. "But you'll still be a bridesmaid, obviously. I'm thinking dusty rose dresses, maybe." I tuned out, smiling and nodding while something hurt deep in my chest. "Not personal," she'd said, "just business. Like our entire relationship could be measured in Instagram engagement rates." "Grace, you're not upset, are you?" "No," I lied. "I'm happy for you, really." She studied my face for a moment, then her phone buzzed and she was distracted, reading comments on her engagement post. I finished my coffee in silence, already regretting the $12. Later, driving home in my beat-up Honda, I let myself feel it, the sting of rejection, the casual dismissal. "You're not successful enough to stand beside me." That's what she'd really meant. I was just a nurse, not Instagram worthy enough for Clara's perfect wedding. Family dinner that Sunday was unbearable. Mom had gone all out, roasted chicken, Clara's favorite sides, a celebratory cake she'd somehow found time to bake. "Tell us everything," Mom demanded the moment we sat down. "I want every detail of the proposal." Clara launched into the story again, somehow even more elaborate than the version I'd heard. Dad listened with the kind of attention he usually reserved for sports games. When she finished, he raised his glass. "To Clara and Nathan, he's a lucky man." "Actually, I'm the lucky one," Clara corrected. "Nathan's company is about to revolutionize tech security. He's meeting with investors next week who want to put in 50 million. 50 million. I tried to imagine that much money and couldn't. What exactly does his company do? I asked. Clara waved her hand dismissively. Data encryption for enterprise clients, very technical. You wouldn't understand it, Grace. I might. Let's stay focused on the wedding, Mom interrupted gently. Have you set a date? The conversation flowed around me. Clara's dress designer, the venue she'd booked, the band that usually played for celebrities. When I tried to mention a patient who'd thanked me today, Clara talked over me. Leave business talk to people who understand it, Grace. We're discussing my wedding. Dad nodded in agreement. Nobody noticed me go quiet for the rest of dinner. The dress fitting happened at a boutique I couldn't have afforded to walk past. Clara had rented out the entire place for her bridal party, 6 bridesmaids plus Mia, who arrived in a chauffeur-driven car. Grace, you made it, Clara kissed my cheek. We're just starting. Mia's picking her dress first since she'll be in the most photos. I stood awkwardly while Mia tried on dresses, each one more elaborate than the last. The other bridesmaids, all influencers or Clara's wealthy friends, discussed vacation homes and brand deals. Nobody asked about my job or my life. The boutique clerk approached me with champagne. Can I get you anything else? Maury water for the ladies. Oh, I'm actually one of the bridesmaids. She's my sister, Clara called out. Grace, come look at this dress. What do you think? Nathan arrived midway through, bringing lunch for everyone. Expensive sushi from a place I'd heard of but never visited. He kissed Clara, charmed the bridesmaids, ignored me completely. Until I tried to make conversation. Clara mentioned your company's doing well. What's it called again? His smile tightened almost imperceptibly. Tech Secure Solutions, why do you ask? Just curious, I like hearing about. We should focus on the dresses, he interrupted smoothly. This is Clara's day. Something about his tone felt off, cold, almost warning. That night, lying in bed, I googled Tech Secure Solutions. Nothing came up. No website, no business registry, no mentions anywhere. I told myself I was overthinking it. Nathan was successful. Clara wouldn't lie about that. But my nurse's intuition, the thing that warned me when patients were sicker than they seemed, wouldn't shut up. I made the mistake of asking Clara about it 3 days later. We were at her apartment, going over wedding invitations, when I casually mentioned the company name. I couldn't find Tech Secure Solutions online. Is it under a different name? Clara's pen stopped moving. Why are you looking up Nathan's company? I was just curious. You're jealous. She set down the pen, turning to face me fully. You can't stand that I'm happy, that I found someone successful, that my life is finally coming together. Clara, that's not. It is. You've always been like this, Grace. Always questioning, always doubting, always trying to make me feel bad about good things happening to me. Her voice rose. Nathan's company is private, that's why you can't find it. They don't advertise, they work with classified clients. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Maybe you should focus on your own life instead of trying to sabotage mine. She stood up, grabbing her phone. I think you should go. I left, my face burning. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was jealous. Maybe I couldn't understand her world because I'd never be successful enough to enter it. But that nagging feeling wouldn't go away. The engagement party was everything Clara had dreamed. A glittering ballroom, 200 guests, photographers everywhere. I wore a dress I'd bought on sale and felt invisible next to the influencers in designer gowns. Clara looked like a princess. Nathan looked like a movie star. Together, they were the kind of couple that made other people feel inadequate just by existing. Nathan gave a speech that was perfectly polished, talking about destiny and soulmates and building a future together. Clara cried beautiful, camera-ready tears. Everyone applauded. I stood near the bar, nursing a drink I couldn't afford, when I overheard 2 men talking nearby. Nathan's got balls, I'll give him that, one said. Think he'll pull it off? If he doesn't, he still owes us 50 grand from the last one. They laughed. I froze. Last one, owed them. Before I could process it, Nathan appeared at my elbow. Grace, enjoying yourself? The party's beautiful. You and Clara seem very happy. We are, he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I heard you've been asking questions about my business. I was just. Careful, Grace, his voice dropped low. You wouldn't want to ruin your sister's big moment with unfounded accusations. People might think you're jealous, unstable even. He patted my shoulder gently. Enjoy the party. He walked away, leaving me cold. That wasn't a conversation, that was a threat. I tried to tell Clara the next day. Called her, asked to meet for coffee, said it was important. She showed up 20 minutes late, distracted by her phone. Make it quick, I have a dress appointment. I overheard something at the party, about Nathan owing people money. Stop, she held up her hand. Just stop, Grace. Clara, please listen. No, you listen. Her voice was sharp enough to make other customers look. I don't know what your problem is with Nathan, but I'm done. You're jealous that I found someone amazing while you're still single, working a job that barely pays your rent, living a boring life. That's not fair. You'll never understand what real success looks like. You work in a hospital, Grace. You wear scrubs and eat vending machine food and go home to an empty apartment. Nathan built a company, he's important, and you can't stand it. She grabbed her purse, standing up. I'm getting married in 4 months. Either be happy for me or stay away, your choice. I chose to stay away. What else could I do? I buried myself in work, pulling extra shifts, avoiding family dinners. Mom called asking why I was being difficult. Dad sent a text saying I should apologize to Clara. Nobody asked for my side of the story. 3 months passed. I saw Clara's wedding planning on Instagram, dress fittings, venue tour, bachelorette party in Miami. Mia was in every photo, Clara's perfect maid of honor, beautiful and successful, and everything I apparently was. I'd almost convinced myself to forget the whole thing. Nathan was probably legitimate, I'd probably misheard. I was probably just jealous like Clara said. Then my phone rang at 6 a.m. 2 days before the wedding. Mom's name on the screen, her voice panicked. Grace, something happened. Clara can't reach Nathan. I was instantly awake. What do you mean? He didn't show up for the rehearsal dinner last night. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His apartment's empty. His car, gone. Mom's voice cracked. Grace, please, she needs you. I threw on clothes and drove to the venue. Chaos greeted me. Clara crying in her perfect white dress, the wedding planner on 3 phones simultaneously, bridesmaids clustered in confused groups. Clara saw me and something broke in her expression. Grace. I went to her, pulling her into a hug. She sobbed against my shoulder, ruining my shirt with makeup and tears. He's gone, she whispered. Nathan's gone. The next hours were a nightmare. Police were called. Nathan's friends claimed they didn't know where he was. His business partner, someone I'd never heard of, said he hadn't seen Nathan in weeks. The wedding planner tried to salvage things. Maybe he's just nervous, cold feet, men do this sometimes. His apartment is empty, Clara said numbly. The landlord said he moved out yesterday. He took everything. More details emerged throughout the day. His phone had been disconnected. His bank accounts were closed. His social media had been deleted. Nathan hadn't just disappeared, he'd erased himself. 300 guests were supposed to arrive tomorrow. The venue was decorated. The caterer had prepared food. The photographer was booked. Everything was ready for a wedding that would never happen. Clara sat in the bridal suite, staring at nothing. Mia had stopped answering her calls. The other bridesmaids had quietly left. Only family remained, and we didn't know what to do. I sat beside my sister, holding her hand, not saying anything because what could I possibly say? Around midnight, her voice came out small and broken. You tried to warn me. Clara, you tried to tell me something was wrong and I called you jealous. I said terrible things, I chose him over you. She finally looked at me, her face destroyed. Why are you even here? Because you're my sister. She started crying again. The next morning, the real chaos began. Someone had filmed Clara's breakdown when Nathan didn't show up, her screaming, crying, accusing his friends of hiding him. The video had leaked online. Bridezilla meltdown, groom vanishes before celebrity wedding, read the headlines. But worse than that were the comments. Someone had connected me to the story. Now social media was painting me as the jealous sister who'd sabotaged Clara's wedding. The sister was always jealous of her success. I bet she scared him off. Some people can't stand to see their family happy. Was she sleeping with him? This feels like revenge. My hospital's Facebook page was flooded with comments. Strangers were calling the ER, asking if I still worked there. My supervisor called me into her office. Grace, I know this isn't true, but the attention is affecting the hospital. Maybe take a few days off until things calm down. I went home and made the mistake of checking my phone. Hundreds of messages from unknown numbers, death threats, accusations, demands that I confess to whatever I'd done to ruin Clara's wedding. A text from Mom, maybe stay quiet until things cool off, don't make it worse. Even my family thought I'd done something wrong. I sat alone in my apartment, scrolling through hate comments, watching my reputation disintegrate. Clara was the victim, Nathan was the villain, and somehow I was the monster who destroyed everything. I'd stopped checking my phone when someone knocked on my door. I almost didn't answer, terrified it might be a reporter or someone from the videos. But the woman standing there held a badge. Grace Patterson, I'm Detective Vanessa Barnes, can we talk about Nathan Whitmore? I let her in, offering coffee I'd forgotten to make. She sat in my living room, studying me with sharp, intelligent eyes. You're not a suspect, she said immediately. I wanted to clear that up first. Your sister's groom disappeared and people online are blaming you. That's not why I'm here. Then why are you here? Because you had doubts about Nathan before he vanished. Your sister mentioned that in her statement. Detective Barnes pulled out a notebook. You asked about his company. What made you suspicious? I told her everything. The missing business registry, the overheard conversation, Nathan's threat at the engagement party. She listened without interrupting, taking notes. You're not the only one who had doubts about him, she said when I finished. We've been building a file. Nathan Whitmore isn't even his real name. My stomach dropped. What? His actual name is Nicholas Warner. We've been tracking him for 2 years across 3 states. He's a con artist who targets successful women, gets engaged, steals their money, then vanishes. She showed me photos on her tablet. He's done this 6 times that we know of, your sister's the 7th. Detective Barnes explained the pattern. Nicholas Nathan targeted women with public profiles and money. He create fake business credentials, fake references, an entire fake life. He'd propose quickly, gain access to their accounts, then disappear with whatever he could take. The other victims lost between $50,000 and $300,000 each. Does your sister have access to significant funds? I thought about Clara's sponsorship deals, her savings, her apartment that she'd bought cash. She has money, yeah. He probably already has it. These guys work fast. Barnes stood up. I need you to do something for me. Think back over the past 6 months. Did Nathan ever mention specific places, storage units, apartments, anything that seemed odd? I tried to remember. Most of my interactions with Nathan had been brief and uncomfortable. Then something clicked. He dropped a key once, at a family dinner. I handed it back, but he seemed nervous about it, like he didn't want anyone seeing it. What kind of key? Small, the kind for a storage unit or locker. Barnes' expression sharpened. Do you remember which storage company? I closed my eyes, trying to visualize. There been a keychain attached, orange and blue colors. Secure Space Storage, the one off Highway 40. That's helpful, very helpful. She handed me a card. If you think of anything else, call me directly. And Grace, stay off social media, let me handle this. After she left, I felt something I hadn't felt in days, hope. Maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe I'd been right all along. Detective Barnes called me 2 days later. Can you meet me? There's something you need to see. We met at the police station. She led me to an interview room where evidence bags were spread across a table. My breath caught. Jewelry, dozens of pieces. Engagement rings, watches, necklaces. All different styles, all expensive. We found the storage unit using your tip. This is what was inside. Barnes picked up one evidence bag. 6 different fake passports, multiple fake IDs, and these items we believe belonged to his previous victims. I stared at the jewelry, each piece representing someone like Clara, someone who'd loved him, trusted him, believed his lies. There's more, financial documents showing he drained your sister's account systematically over 3 months. He took $200,000, would have been more if he hadn't panicked and run. $200,000. All of Clara's sponsorship money, her savings, everything she'd worked years to build. Gone. Why are you showing me this? Because you're going to have to decide whether to tell your sister. We're building a case, but it'll be public soon. She'll find out either way. Barnes looked at me seriously. I thought you deserved to know first. You were right about him from the beginning. Being right felt worse than being wrong. Clara had lost everything and I'd tried to warn her. She'd called me jealous instead of listening. Does she know he took the money? Not yet, her accounts were frozen as part of the investigation. She probably thinks it's just paperwork. Barnes paused. She'll need support when she finds out. Will your family believe you now? I didn't know, I honestly didn't know. I went to Clara's apartment that evening. Mom answered the door looking exhausted. Grace, I don't think. I need to talk to Clara, it's important. Clara sat on her couch, still wearing pajamas, her hair unwashed. The apartment that had been perfect was now a mess, takeout containers, tissues everywhere, the blindness drawn. What do you want? Her voice was flat. I sat down across from her. The police found Nathan, not actually him but evidence. Clara, he's not who he said he was. I told her everything Barnes had told me. The fake identity, the other victims, the storage unit full of stolen jewelry. She listened without reacting, her face blank. When I finished, she said quietly, "How much?" "How much what?" "How much did he take from me?" $200,000. She laughed, a horrible, broken sound. "Everything, he took everything." She looked at me with empty eyes. "You were right. You tried to warn me and I called you jealous. I said you'd never understand success. And you were right the whole time. I'm sorry." Don't apologize. I don't deserve your apology." She pulled a blanket tighter around herself. "Everyone's gone. Mia stopped answering my calls the day Nathan disappeared. The brand deals were cancelled. The sponsors dropped me. My follower count is down 40,000 because people think I'm a mess. Clara, I had everything and I threw it away. Worse, I threw you away. You're my sister and I treated you like you weren't good enough to stand beside me." Tears ran down her face. "Why are you even here?" "Because you're my sister." "That shouldn't be enough, not after what I did to you." Nathan was arrested 3 days later at the Canadian border. The news exploded. Serial con artist caught after scamming 7 women filled every headline. Clara's story was front and center, her pain broadcast for millions. But something shifted in the narrative. Reporters started finding Nathan's other victims, women who came forward with their stories. A pattern emerged that had nothing to do with Clara being foolish and everything to do with Nathan being a predator. "He made me feel special," one victim said on the news. "Like I was the only person in the world who mattered. That's how he gets you." Slowly, the hatred aimed at Clara began to redirect toward Nathan. People started defending her instead of mocking her. My name quietly disappeared from the story. Detective Barnes called with updates. Nathan Nicholas had confessed to avoid a longer sentence. He targeted Clara specifically because of her online presence, thinking she'd be too embarrassed to report him. He'd stolen from 6 other women the same way. "Your sister's testimony will help put him away," Barnes said. "She's being very brave about it." I hadn't seen Clara in a week. She wasn't answering calls. Mom said she wasn't leaving her apartment. The trial happened 3 months later. I sat in the courtroom watching Clara testify. She looked different, thinner, harder, older somehow. She told the story calmly without breaking, detailing every lie Nathan had told. "He said he loved me," she said on the stand. "He said we'd build a life together. He knew exactly what to say to make me trust him completely." The prosecutor asked, "Did anyone try to warn you?" Clara's eyes found mine in the gallery. "Yes, my sister tried to tell me something was wrong. I didn't listen. I called her jealous and chose him over her." Her voice cracked. "That's my biggest regret, not the money, not the humiliation, that I hurt the one person who was trying to protect me." Nathan was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. The victims would get some restitution, though not everything they'd lost. Clara would get back maybe $80,000 of the $200,000 he'd stolen. After the sentencing, reporters swarmed us outside. Clara held my hand as we pushed through the crowd. "How do you feel about the verdict?" someone shouted. "I'm just glad it's over," Clara said, "and grateful my sister never gave up on me." Life didn't magically fix itself after the trial. Clara moved in with our parents temporarily, unable to afford her apartment. Most of her sponsorships were gone. Her influencer career had effectively ended. But slowly she started rebuilding. She got a job at a marketing firm, entry level, nothing glamorous. She stopped posting every aspect of her life online. She started therapy. And she started talking to me again, really talking. "I'm sorry," she said one day over coffee. Not expensive brunch at a fancy restaurant, just coffee at a normal place. "I'm sorry for all of it. For treating you like you weren't good enough, for choosing image over substance, for making you feel small so I could feel big. You don't have to keep apologizing." "I do though, I need you to know I understand what I did." She stirred her coffee, not looking at me. "I was so focused on building this perfect life, this perfect brand, that I forgot what actually mattered. You were there for every important moment in my life, and I repaid you by saying you weren't successful enough to be my maid of honor. Clara, Mia didn't even visit me once after Nathan left. None of those bridesmaids did, but you showed up. Even after how I treated you, you showed up." She finally looked up, tears in her eyes. "I don't deserve you as a sister. Lucky for you, you don't get to choose your family." She laughed, wiping her eyes. 6 months after the trial, Clara and I drove to meet one of Nathan's other victims. Melissa had reached out through Detective Barnes, wanting to talk to someone who'd experienced the same thing. We met at a park. Melissa was younger than Clara, maybe 23, still devastated by what had happened to her. "I lost everything," she said quietly. "My savings, my apartment, my trust in people. Everyone tells me to move on, but how do you move on from someone stealing your entire life?" Clara sat beside her. "You take it one day at a time. Some days you'll be angry, some days you'll be sad, some days you'll feel nothing at all. All of those things are okay." "Do you still think about him?" "Every day, but less and differently now. I don't miss him anymore. I'm angry at who he pretended to be, at myself for not seeing through it." Clara took Melissa's hand. "But it does get easier, I promise." We talked for 2 hours. By the end, Melissa looked a little less broken. "Thank you," she said. "Everyone else just wants me to get over it. You actually understand." After she left, Clara turned to me. "Is this what you do, at the hospital, help people through their worst moments?" "Sometimes when I can." "I never asked about your work, not really. I just dismissed it like it didn't matter." She looked ashamed. "Will you tell me about it now? I want to actually listen." So I did. 1 year after Nathan's arrest, Clara did an interview with a major magazine. From influencer to fraud victim, how I rebuilt my life. She was honest about everything. The con, the warning signs she'd ignored, the humiliation of being wrong. But she also talked about recovery, about finding herself again, about learning to value real relationships over online personas. The interview went viral, but this time in a good way. People reached out with their own stories of being conned. Other victims found courage to come forward. Clara started receiving messages thanking her for speaking up. "I never thought my worst moment would become my purpose," she told me. "But I think I'm helping people, actually helping them, not just posting pretty pictures." She started a blog about financial abuse and emotional manipulation. It wasn't making her rich, but it was making a difference. "I was so obsessed with success that I couldn't see it when someone truly successful was right in front of me," she said. "You save lives, Grace, real lives. And I told you that didn't matter because it was Instagram worthy. You were lost. People make mistakes when they're lost. That's generous considering what I put you through." She smiled sadly. "I told you that you weren't successful enough to be my maid of honor. The truth is, I wasn't good enough to have you in my wedding party. You were better than everything I was trying to build." Mom hosted Christmas dinner that year, the first time the whole family had gathered since the almost wedding. There was nervousness at first, nobody sure how to act. But Clara broke the ice. "Before we eat, I want to say something." Everyone went quiet. "Last year I almost married a con artist because I was too proud to listen when Grace tried to warn me. I put image over substance, followers over family, and almost lost everything that actually mattered." She looked at me across the table. "Grace, I'm sorry isn't enough for what I put you through, but I want everyone here to know my sister saved me, not just from Nathan but from becoming someone I'm ashamed of. She showed me what real success looks like." Dad cleared his throat awkwardly. "We should have listened to you, Grace, we're sorry too." Mom nodded, wiping her eyes. "It wasn't perfect, it didn't erase the hurt, but it was a start." Clara's phone rang during dessert. She glanced at it, then answered with a sharp intake of breath. Hello, yes, this is she. We all watched as her expression cycled through surprise, confusion, then something like wonder. Are you serious? That's yes, of course. Thank you so much. She hung up, staring at her phone. What was that? Mom asked. Detective Barnes, they recovered more of Nathan's stolen assets. I'm getting back $180,000. She looked stunned. Almost everything he took, I'm getting it back. The table erupted in relief and excitement. Dad hugged Clara. Mom started crying happy tears. Everyone talked over each other. But Clara looked at me. You know what this means? I can actually start over, really start over. What do you want to do? I don't know yet. But for the first time in years, I get to make that choice without worrying about followers or brand deals or what people think. She smiled. Maybe I'll go back to school, or travel, or just take time to figure out who I actually am under all the performance. Whatever you choose, I'm proud of you. I couldn't have gotten here without you. She reached across the table, squeezing my hand. You never gave up on me, even when I gave you every reason to. Spring arrived, 1 year since the wedding that never happened. Clara invited me to brunch, at a normal diner this time, not some overpriced place. I want to show you something, she said, pulling out her phone. It was an email acceptance letter. I got into graduate school, business administration. I want to work with fraud victims, help them recover financially and emotionally. Clara, that's amazing. It's because of you, because you showed me what it means to actually help people instead of just performing help for cameras. She put her phone away. I start in the fall, I'm excited, terrified but excited. You'll be great at it, you have the empathy now that you didn't have before. Hardened empathy, she said ruefully. But yeah, Nathan took a lot from me, but in a twisted way he also gave me perspective. I'd rather have this life honest, struggling, real, than the fake perfect life I was building before. We ate pancakes and talked about her school plans. No photos taken, no posts made, just two sisters spending time together. As we left, Clara said, Hey Grace, I never asked this properly before. If I ever get married again, like actually to someone real, will you be my maid of honor? You're asking me that, after everything. Especially after everything. You're the only person who stood by me when my world fell apart. That's what a maid of honor actually is, someone who stands beside you no matter what. She looked embarrassed. I should have known that before, I'm sorry I didn't. If you ever get married again, I'd be honored. Good, though I'm taking at least 5 years off dating first. She laughed, maybe 10. 2 years after Nathan's arrest, I received an invitation in the mail. Detective Vanessa Barnes was receiving a commendation for her work on fraud cases. She'd specifically requested I attend. At the ceremony, she gave a speech about the importance of listening to people's instincts, of taking concerns seriously even when they seem minor. A nurse named Grace Patterson called my attention to details that broke open a case affecting 7 victims across 3 states, Barnes said. She trusted her instincts when everyone around her said she was wrong. That's the kind of awareness we need more of in this world. After the ceremony, she found me in the crowd. Thank you for coming, your sister too. Clara had come with me, surprising me. I wanted to thank you properly, Clara told Barnes, for believing Grace when nobody else would. She made it easy. She had evidence, observations, logical concerns. She just needed someone to listen. Barnes smiled at me. Have you ever thought about victim advocacy work? You'd be excellent at it. I hadn't, but the idea planted itself. Maybe there was more I could do beyond the ER. Maybe I could help people like Clara, like Melissa, like all of Nathan's victims rebuild their lives. 5 years after the wedding that never happened, I stood in Clara's new apartment, modest but beautiful, decorated with actual art instead of brand sponsorships. She'd graduated with her MBA, started working at a non-profit helping fraud victims navigate financial recovery. She'd even started dating again, slowly, carefully, with healthy boundaries. I never thanked you properly, she said, handing me coffee, for saving me. You've thanked me.